welcome to this week's video. So today's video is going to be just me going through how I painted my 3 dragon heads. So these 3 dragon heads are available in my shop at creaturesofnat.com. I also have 3 dragon claw pendants that are necklaces that is also available. It's in the jewellery section of my shop, and the dragon heads are in the resin pieces section of my shop. So I'll show you the dragons. So the first one we have is kind of based on Dragon. I have sculpted, molded and cast this in resin. So originally it was sculpted in monster clay, and then I molded it in silicone, and it has been cast in resin. So it's slightly different from the Game of Thrones dragons, but it was sort of based off that. You know, the horns are different and just a lot of stuff's actually different. But yeah, so this is the first one that's available. So they're at a pretty cheap price for considering how much work goes into this. And I originally had a lot of people asking if they wanted one as well, so now is your chance to actually get one, and they have been painted up. So these have all been painted in water-based acrylic paint. They have been sealed with Liquitex matte varnish and gloss as well, so they should be ready to go. So that's the first one. And the next one is kind of based off Syrian, so it's got a yellowy brown undertone. Drogon, the one that's based off Drogon, has a orangey sort of undertone. So this is the second one. So that's what we have. So that's that one. And then obviously based off Rhaegal. So this one is a closed mouth version. Obviously those two are the open mouth versions. They have painted eyes as well, so yeah. So they are ready to go at a pretty cheap price as well, and they should be up in my shop if they already haven't been bought. And then we have 3 pendants. So we have 3 dragon claw pendants, same colors, same deal, but each has a different colored chain. So depending on how well, or if people are interested, whether I'll make more or not. So it's just the 3 of them for now, but if there is a pretty good interest in it, then I might do more. Just depends what happens. So yes, those 3 are available, and they have clasps as well, so they easily go on, and they sit just about there. So yeah, those 3 are available as well. So you can head to my shop, creaturesofnat.com. They'll all be there if they haven't already been sold. And yeah, so maybe I'll do more in the future, depending the heads, that is, depending how well they go as well, because I know I had a lot of interest when I was sculpting it initially. So yeah, I thought I could do a resin piece. So anyway, if you want to see how I painted everything, stay tuned and keep watching, and I'll probably see you next time. Alright, so basically I'm starting off with a 2-part resin cast. So I needed to cast this in 2 different parts, so I'm making 2 different molds because it was just too big and too complex to make one mold, so it needed a double mold. So what I'm going to do with this particular one, because the mouth is closed, I can't get in there with a paintbrush. So what I'm going to do first is paint the inside of the mouth first, just so there's no like white bits that you can see when you're actually looking at the sculpture. So I'm just checking to see if I've got it all, and what you can and can't actually see when the mouth is closed. So I'm using Chromacryl acrylic paints, and I have primed my resin piece before painting with a primer. I have a primer video on my channel, so I'll try and remember to link it. I always seem to forget, so if you're interested, it is on my channel. It's just what do I prime my resin with. So once I'm happy with that, what I go ahead and do is I'm attaching the two pieces together using Epoxy Sculpt, and Epoxy Sculpt is a two-part, I guess it's like epoxy, which this is really, really good because it's really, really solid and you can actually sculpt with it. So because this was in two parts, I need to sort of sculpt in the details where it meets, so it's like a flawless look and you can't tell that it was two parts to begin with. So I'm just going ahead and sculpting all of that seam around the two drawer bit and the top of the head bit. I do have like a peg system that sort of will hold it into place a bit more inside of the head as well. And this takes about 24 hours to cure, so I usually just leave it to sit overnight or 24 hours just so it goes hard. It's before painting over it. You've got like a half an hour to an hour work time depending on what temperature it is. So I went ahead and did it to all three heads, and now I can move on to the painting. So I'm gonna probably just let it play out. There's no point really talking over what I'm doing here because it's painting and I'm painting it. Alright guys, so that's it for this video. I hope you enjoyed watching me paint these 3 dragon heads. If you are interested in them, head to my shop at creaturesofnat.com and see if there's any still available. And I will probably catch you in the next one. So if you want to check me out on my social medias, they are Instagram and Facebook, and you can find me at creaturesofnat. And I'll catch you in the next one. Bye!